Paris in the springtime, I hear is so divine. Good morning. Good morning. Buongiorno. Good morning. Welcome to my den. Rather than a den of inequity. It's a privilege for me to share you my morning cup of tea. It's a very special moment every morning. I have this cup of tea here, special brew. I share this morning event with you guys because you're so special to me. Paris in the springtime, I hear it's so divine. Oh, really? I don't have any want or need to want to go to gay Paris. It certainly is now. Good morning to you. Boy, we've had a busy few days. Well, actually, it's been busy for a long time. Now, although I've been doing quite a bit of shows, please understand that the only reason I do shows is because everything else has been taken care of. Put this in the highlight here. And I have this leisure time to put on a show and share my thoughts and share my thoughts. And to share my morning cup of tea, which is a very private, personal moment to you, shows that I am a sharing person and a caring person. Put that tea in the spotlight here. The spot of tea, just a spot. I love the way the British talk. I think I'll have a spot of tea. A spot? How do you drink a spot? I drink a, what is it, 16-ounce cup or whatever it is. It's not a spot of tea. No, 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 no. No, no, no. Anyway, I'm fucking with you. Somebody has to. Okay, a few days in review has been pretty goddamn insane. Insane in the membrane. Mr. Jirdan lost his monkey ass mind for sure now. There's no question about it. After all said and done, he does a last show last night where he's very somber. Well, it's from a night of drinking, which I know. You guys find so fascinating that, he could be in a jail cell and have such privileges. Well, I'm here to make sure that all ends. It's actually not fair to other people in the world that are incarcerated that their privileges are taken away as such. But since he thinks he's extra special sauce, and pays no mind to it, just broadcast it, talking about getting a bottle of Jim Beam and asking his new cellmate, God, pray for this guy, he has to hear Barry's shit all the time, of asking him to go half with him on a bottle of Jim Beam. Can you imagine that? God, but he gets away with it in that cell, but that's where I come in. That's where I come in. He should not have such privileges. Hold on a second. I hear somebody's alarm going off. Did we have rain overnight? Look at the leaves on the ground. Oh, there goes Popeye, right on schedule. It shows up on here. When I'm doing a live show, there's Popeye. Speaking of people who have absolutely more time on their hands. They know what to do with. If anybody qualifies for that, that certainly is Popeye. At least have a rhyme and reason to come on and do certain shows with particular topic matter that is more current and is even worth talking about. But Popeye, well, he's got to have his little glass of gin or bottle of gin actually, and some kind of chaser with it. But right on schedule, Popeye comes on. He's a little bit off schedule actually. Ah, glorious morning. The birds are singing. It's kind of a little bit overcast. And it just gets out for a second. Quite frankly, I'm out having a fucking smoke. And I usually go out back. That happens sometimes. I got that dead zone here. I don't care if I got satellite or not. I mean, there's a dead zone there. Listen to the early morning dogs in the background, of course. Beautiful sounds of the Boyds. There's my 13 on here again. So, Popeye, what do you think about all the tirades? What do you think about Barry's losing his mind? Well, look who I'm asking. You got to hear the dogs, though, when they put the siren on 3 times a day. There's apparently a few blocks from here. There's a shelter. I've been there before. Exactly where it is from my house. It's not terribly far away. When that siren goes off, it's pretty loud for these dogs' ears, and they go crazy. I go crazy. Anyway, Popeye. So any, but even Popeye has his own routine. Now you'll hear the roosters. I don't hear a lot of roosters all day long. It's not that noisy around here like you might think, and everything comes alive. I'd rather hear a bunch of birds singing than a shitload of karaoke or something going on here. I don't know if it was worth you coming on, Popeye, the simulcast. I'm not going to really say too much except what I did have said already. But that gives you a little space for your own little soliloquy. How's that mobility scooter of yours? You might need a new battery by now. I think they're only good for about a year, Robert. Still waiting for you to make that trip to the Philippines, but I don't think that's going to happen, especially what age you're at now, and you're probably broke. And it's kind of hard to get around. Well, they got wheelchairs and stuff, at the airports and all that. They'll help you out. They're good for that, actually. What's going on with all these air crashes? Speaking of airlines, usually when some big event happens, and for example, with an aircraft, comes big news, and then all of a sudden they start talking about aircraft crashes. And there's always a crash somewhere, small planes, helicopters, whatnot. But they have to create news and bring it forward and say, oh, just another crash. Good morning. Good morning to you too. Oh, okay. Well, that tea takes quite a while to cool off before I can actually drink it. Of course, I put my turmeric and black pepper in it. You know the routine. I just don't have any. Well, I do have a lemon. I'm just too lazy to go get a lemon and break it up. I don't know. I want to save my lemons for a pitcher and just make a good old big pitcher of lemon, and no added sugar, of course. No need. I'm sure Popeye would have something to say about something, right, Robert? So, what has anybody been missing on here? I don't think you've been missing a whole lot because I think everything has been brought public pretty much. Barry totally losing his mind. I mean, for good this time. To bring up a note on Barry, did he take his Travel America channel down? Yeah, I definitely got him on my subscription list. I know when he does his shows, just like you do Popeye and Don and so forth. You have particular shows you need to know. You need to know, and they're on. I only need to know because I used to get more evidence on him. But he did a show later in the night, 9:30 or so, very somber sounding, burned out from all the liquor in the jail cell. Yeah, you heard it right, in the jail cell. And he was doing this third party shit. That's how I know he totally lost it. No, I'm not saying that he never done that before. He has, but this one was more unique. Oh, like we can't recognize his accent and so forth. Well, that's a hard thing to do. That's when you know he really lost his mind. Some people say, well, I really feel sorry for this guy. He's approaching 22 months. Um, that's the litmus test, I call it. The litmus test of how long does it take somebody to break being incarcerated, even if it isn't in a bona fide prison. It goes to show you that if you are confined and you are restricted on your activities for such a period of time, that it does indeed take its toll on you. And obviously, it's taken its toll on Mr. Jordan. We've seen this progression of mental illness happen almost on a daily basis with him. Sorry, we had a brownout here. It's kind of something that happens quite often. And despite having satellite, well, it eats power. Get myself comfortable here, get the AC on here. Oh, much better. It's
very humid. I was out there this morning helping her clean up the 500,000 leaves that, since it was a rainfall, was falling off these trees. I don't know if they were somehow deciduous trees. I didn't know they had them out here, but the whole ground was just, could hardly see the ground. And this is kind of a ritual or routine we do every single day. So again, there you go. Pardon me for this morning. I started the show. I couldn't finish it because there was about a 2-hour outage here, unannounced, and that's kind of the way it works out here. Unannounced. Surprise, surprise, you know. That's living in the Philippines. Choices we all make, but we have to deal with certain infrastructure or lack of and so forth. That's the choices you make. I suppose I could wait for a few people to show up here. There's been a lot to listen to this morning. Of course, you had Popeye doing his thing and Don C., of course, the experts on the community. Well, at least some of us agree on something anyway, in regards to somebody. We're on the same page, at least on that. Okay, and tell you what I do want to discuss, and as mentioned by, you know, the brothers in arms, you know, Popeye and Don C., of course. Why would I spend so much money on a case? The figures are not really far off, actually. It's a little less than that, but here's the point being about all of this. And by the way, Barry took his channel down, and he did give that very spooky third-party show later last night. Sounded completely drained, completely defeated, depleted. Oh, it'll be back on somehow, but I don't know. Because the word is out with immigration in a big way, how he downed immigration. Yeah, this was sent over. Of course it was. You know I did that. So if he hasn't gotten his phone actually physically taken away from him yet, I think there's a better than good chance that they will this time. But he upped the odds on his, his case. Okay, but let me get back to what I started talking about. And good morning, Anthony. Good morning to you and my other viewers that are slowly popping on here. You got choices to make in life, and it really has to do with how much you're convicted of your own personal process of how you want to deal with something, and whether or not you should deal with it or not in any form or way. His situation did not have to come about. I want to make this abundantly clear. Okay, he got himself into the immigration. Doesn't matter how it happened, but it did. But his cyber libel shit came about while he was in immigration and being all pissed off and everything else. Only him to blame, his own self, of course. And that's when he started to get really vulgar and saying horrible things. And I had to make a decision on this. Initially, at first, you know, I understood his anger for being caught. But that wasn't enough for him, and he decided he would take this several more steps and voice out his anger for something he created for himself. No matter how you look at it, he created it. Maybe I was involved with, informing the agents of the immigration in regards to him being an overstayer. Sure, I take the credit for that. I take the credit of having them investigate him to make sure he was actually staying where we figured he was, and that was at his girlfriend's house. Yes, she was harboring and aiding and abetting him. There's no question about that. Let's not even discuss that. There's no question about that. She knew damn well what was going on, okay? So let's move beyond that. Um, all right. Then, obviously, you know what happened from that point on, okay? And it got really, really ugly. Let's try to read the comments as I go along here. Anthony says, oh, but his situation certainly did have to come about. He's the very definition of what self-destruction is. Yes, very well put. I agree with you. Everybody agrees with you on that, Anthony. So I get sick and tired of the finger pointing that I'm responsible for this, I'm responsible for that, when it's not the truth. Okay, moving on this. You all familiar with what he did? It got to a point it was continuous. And, I fired a few warning shots in regard to this. And, the warning shots didn't scare him. And because he's so cocky and above the law, he figured, well, they're not going to do anything about this. He's still talking about this American to American thing. That's all he ever talks about, American to American thing. It don't matter who you are out here. They have their own laws. Well, he decided to push the envelope a bit, and it all came down to this. Well, he didn't stop, is what happened. And there's no reason, there should have been no reason that he's on trial. There should not have been that way. If he didn't do what he did, say what he did. And it wasn't like an occasional, the guy's a pet, he's this and that. All right, that's enough to piss anybody off, of course, but, you know the history. When it became continuous, I had to make some decisions. And I fought my decisions. And I said, it was continuous. And the damage that I could do to somebody, obviously. It's like somebody, a pissed off Karen or something, saying, this guy raped me. Well, the damsel in distress syndrome, Everybody's going to believe the damsel in distress. That's the way it is. You go to a bar, and you could have some broad in there, man, who's a huge troublemaker. I've seen these things before, actually, who's a big troublemaker. But the other guys in the bar, they don't really know what happened, perhaps, in a situation like that. When she was the culprit, causing the problems, throwing a drink in a guy's face or slapping some guy or just pissing some guy off or something for whatever reason. Or maybe your boyfriend shows up with another girl in there and she just goes ballistic. But the way it works in this world, it's the damsel in distress syndrome, where these drunken bastards are always going to come to the woman's defense. Because they don't really know what transpired. I've been in a situation like that. My friend Bill. Bill came over there, and anyway, the rarity that I had a drink, I think I had a rum and coke, sitting on a table for Bill to come back. Of course, he was, trying to make his way around with the ladies and all that, And his ex-girlfriend showed up there because she knew that Bill was going to be there. If Bill is listening, he'll remember this. She knew I didn't like her, and I had told Bill, I said, this ain't the chick for you. But I don't know. What was on Bill's mind, I don't know. He had made his own decisions and all that stuff, So she walks up to me and basically takes my drink and throws it on me. I go, what the fuck? Bill comes over and just kind of pulls her away. Come on, get out of here. Go, whatever, It's one of those situations. Now, if there was a situation, example, I want to continue on that line of thought. In say, a bar situation, it's very common, where a guy wants to get laid. He's drinking, he's loose, and he's, typical bar flies. And, he'll come to the woman's defense figuring, let me be the hero on this. He comes to her defense, next thing you know, he's getting laid. He doesn't realize that she's the troublemaker in there. So they'll go after the guy. This has happened time after time in bars all over the world. Never mind like Seattle or whatever. All over the world. They're going to believe the woman over the guy when they don't know the real story. That happens. Okay, I should read the comments before I go on. But his situation certainly did have to come about. Okay, he's the very definition of what self-destruction is. Okay, got that. You continue to say, I don't know if congratulations are in order, but here's acknowledgement to you, having run him off YouTube. Hip, hip, hooray. Well, pardon me. I think he ran himself off YouTube is what happened, really. There's too many odds against him, and especially the realization that finally set in with him that he was trying to order a murder, a hit on me. He basically admitted he wanted to kill me. Secondly, he incited other people that I'm sure somebody with 50,000 out there could find a Filipino guy to come and kill me. He has said things like, if he does get sentenced to over 2 years or whatever it's going to be, he's got nothing to lose. He's going to break out in that courtroom and he's going to lay it on me. Not to mention some of the comments he made that Frank needs to die. I want him dead. And, you heard all that stuff. Well, that became overwhelming for Barry. And he realizes that I do got the evidence for that. And he realizes that he's in shit shape. Like he's never been in before. But again, self-destructive, yeah, that's the word. I think it was AGEG. That's the word. Self-destruction of a, on a multitude of levels that he's demonstrated. Again, I apologize for earlier show. We had an unexpected brownout here. Nothing I could do about that, Even with a satellite system, you still need power, okay? And I don't have any really needed data on the phone, so I couldn't continue. I put some load and data on here now and then. But generally, I use the Wi-Fi from the house, basically. Then I break down, I put a little time on the phone, whatever, so forth. But yeah, I wasn't shocked to wake up and see that because I have him on my subscription list, so I know when he does a show on, like he does. I didn't see it there. I said, oh, how interesting is that? I hit the icon I tried to find the icon that, had his name on it. It wasn't there. So I think last night he was really, really depressed. And if you go by the tone of voice, he was talking very low so nobody heard him in the other cell or anything. I think the guards or somebody gave him shit too, but he got shit-faced. I mean, how stupid can you be is to talk about having another bottle of Jim Beam? Another means he just drank one. And he's asking the other inmate if he wants to go half on another. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? He actually thinks he owns the joint. That it almost sounds like he has the guards in his pocket or something, but then you say to yourself, how so? He's complaining about money. He shows a receipt or something that has 74 cents in his bank account. Again and again, how does he afford these grab meals and so forth? It's just a continuation of lies from this guy. That just goes on, infinitely. I mean, it just goes on. How do you live that way with yourself? I don't know. I couldn't. I have a conscience, unlike him. If I do something wrong, I know if I did something wrong. I'll even come out and admit if I did something wrong. Otherwise, you're just fooling yourself. But he did the worst thing he could do of all this time. Like I said, it's not like he never did death threats before. We've got that. We certainly do. Still preserved and in the hands of myself and my attorneys. But to come out on public media, just like he came out trying to label me as a child molester, which was bad enough. That was bad enough. And like I say, I want to add to that and kind of get back to where I started, really. my ADDH, whatever takes over, about the money that I've spent on the case. Is it worth it? Yes. And some people will say, why didn't you just take care of it personally? Well, a long time ago I explained that. You could beat the shit out of somebody, but they're going to heal. Their bones are going to heal, their wounds are going to heal. They go right back to doing what they did again. That's why I put a case on him. Exactly why, if you want to know why. And sure, that money could have been spent for the kids' education more so, improvements on the house, vacations, whatever. But I'm just not the kind of guy. What's that Blondie song? I'm not the kind of girl. Anyway. That was going to sit back anymore. I had to make a decision, but it was well thought of. It was not a spur of the moment decision on the direction I wanted to take with Mr. Jordan. It was well thought of. It got to a point that I knew he was never going to stop. And this is the internet, it's social media. Just like when Brevis tried to pull that rice caper thing here. It gets around, right? It's the community. Of course, that was resolved and everybody knew what happened. It was a scam thing, you know. Nevertheless, he still did that. And Brevis is another case, but we'll get to him. You got to make a decision sometimes to do something. And as I said, there was a woman out here actually that owed Gilda quite a bit of money. I mean, a lot of money. And helped her out with a investment that the lady wanted to do. I'd known her for a while, and her investments, the investment in her was paying off. But then she had some problems. She was using the investment money for other purposes and stopped paying. So basically, we sat at the barangay office not terribly long ago. We laid it down. And I told her straight up. I said, you know what? You're lucky you're not dealing with a couple of violent people here. Because the kind of money that you owe my girlfriend, people would kill for a fraction of that. And you're going to piss off the wrong person someday. I said, be happy that we're trying to deal with this in a better way. Because if it was anybody else, you know, that could have been, especially the amount of money that was concerned. If there was any other way, you wouldn't be sitting here at this table trying to do some negotiating and settling. I said, feel lucky. And I say the same thing with Barry. That he needs to feel lucky that I took a legal route to this. And by the way, her reputation is totally soiled in this town. I'm not going to tell you the end results of this, but it's good. In Barry's situation, well, I think he's beyond help at this point, both mentally and financially and otherwise. And to kind of rebuttal what Popeye and Don had to say, it's not that, you know, why am I choosing Barry? Well, I can't go over the planet. There's a lot of people on here that said a lot of horrible things about me. But if I had to go and take every fucking one of them and put a case on, then I would be broke. It's like one step at a time, sweet Jesus. One step at a time. It doesn't mean it's over with these other people. Nah, not legally, but, you know. I have my ways of dealing with people. Like I said, there's a method to my madness. I have a good memory for people like that. It has nothing to do with a money base. But they're saying, well, I'm going after Barry because I know he doesn't have any money, and I got more money he'll ever have than he'll ever have. No, it wasn't like that at all. If it was somebody else, it would be somebody else, and I don't care how much money they have. You're either wrong or you're right. You're right or you're wrong. That's what it's all about. If you got evidence enough, then, you take care of business. Yes, dealing with any kind of complaint and dealing with any kind of a legal case does take a lot of money. But you have to make that conscious decision to do that, and you have to have reason to do it. And it's up to you, not anybody else, to decide what direction you want to take with this. Okay, so that's kind of how that worked. It's not having to do with taking advantage of somebody who doesn't have any money. But it has a lot to do with what they did. And they couldn't shut their mouth. That's all. It's not really as complicated as that. And maybe, somehow, it is set into him that he's in big ass trouble. I mean, like, almost 22 months being locked up. I mean, it took him this long to figure it out, that he's in some big ass trouble. He's not got the immigration supporting him anymore. He fucked up every fucking agency out there, including his lawyer. Did you hear what he had to say about his lawyer? I don't know. I just hope I don't know his lawyer's name. I could find out, but hope his lawyer gets word of this, because he'll definitely get rid of him as a client. I wonder if Barry finally broke and knew he had to stop. Well, look, he's been hearing this all over the internet from everybody, from the creeps, Don C. and Popeye and other people and his own viewers that were trying to tell him, and he'd block all of them. He doesn't want to hear the truth. So ridden with guilt. People have been telling him, get off. You said quite a mouthful. And better yet, it's been recorded. It's not like, whatever he said and done has gone unnoticed. I mean, the freaking shit was all recorded. He can get rid of whatever he wants on his channel. Go in hiding. But it's too late, Barry. That stuff has been recorded and sent out. I imagine on Monday, these officers will get the rest of the material that I sent in which you, by removing your shows, it doesn't mean it's going to be there. This is recorded from my channel. I did this purposely. That's why I recorded this stuff to put on my channel, because you can't get rid of that. I told you there's a method to my madness. He can't get rid of that by getting rid of whatever he posted on the show. Barry just hates being told what to do. Oh, man, he's such a problem with that. Oh, he does not like authoritarian type of figures at all. That's quite apparent. You say, nobody's going to tell me what to do. So can you imagine in a relationship with him? And we've seen it. We've heard it. His girlfriend wants to marry him. I just don't understand. Does she not see the true colors of this guy? Is it so important for her to marry a foreigner that she's willing to take him as he is, all broken up, no future, no money? I know. You all been saying the same thing that I've been saying for a long time. Why? Why is she willing to ruin her life? Why? What does she have out there to prove? To marry this guy? Well, he already said it. Yeah, you're right. Marrying her is going to give me some benefits, going to help me stay in this country. There you go. And if she hasn't heard that, I hope she did. If she's that gullible and naive, then she deserves to marry him. May the wind be at your back. Good luck with that. Even some of the major trolls like Don C. and Popeye was saying, I always use them because they're the most current big trolls on here. saying the same thing I did. At least we agree on something. Not much, though. But even they said it. Basically, what's the purpose of him getting married? That the potential of him being in jail for a long time does exist. I don't know, Sid. And WTF says, I would not be surprised if Barry does try to make a run for it. Well, I've said that for a very long time, going back years. That place is so easy. That's why I'm trying to convince the Department of Immigration or DOJ or both, whatever, to put him in a more secure facility, because now it wouldn't be any different. I mean, he was running away from immigration the whole time he's been out in this country. Fact being, who says he can't do it again? Except it might be a little difficult getting together with his girlfriend, not being seen and found again, which will make it worse for him. I'm sure that has gone through his mind, absolutely. Sid. So is there going to be a wedding? That's a very good question, Sid. Whether I believe this or not, that he's actually going to get married, I'm still skeptical, because there are legal impediments against him. And he could qualify for the rest. You don't have to have a current visa, believe it or not. We got to make up the rules here. But there cannot be any legal impediments against him or her. That would make it impossible to get married. Because they still got to do an MBI deal. So, is he really going to get married on February 22nd? Or if it's one of his elaborate, ha ha ha, baited you folks? We'll see. Or maybe not. Because if his phone is taken away from him and he's put in actual jail, you'll just hear it through either Ricky or especially Brevis. And then he can't believe them either, especially Brevis. He'll tell Brevis, say, yeah, I was the best man. I was there, and they're definitely married. They're definitely married. So, as I said, I do not totally buy into this. Can they get married? Yes. But with the legal impediment situation going on, that's kind of a wrench in the machinery. But now, things have changed a little bit, folks. I'm giving you a very extended or elaborate answer on this. With new evidence being thrown out there to immigration and DOJ, and even letting them know about the so-called marriage thing, right? They're better off saving their money instead of having a preacher come over and pay them and food and all that stuff, if that was actually going to happen. It makes no sense at all. There could be interference on this, actually, from immigration, especially since he totally fucking just attacked the people of immigration, what he said about them and the whole system. That was another big mistake that he made, major mistake. So, is it going to happen? I put my doubts in it. And knowing that every time, oh, by the way, do you notice how Barry copies off me? The big line is if his lips are moving, he's lying. He borrows a lot of stuff from me, because he can't make up stuff on his own. So I've heard him say a few times, yeah, well, Frank's lips are moving, he's lying. Get original, Barry. Just try at least, so you don't bore us to death. I don't know. That's the long-term answer on that, Sid. I don't know. I can't see how, but hey, who am I to say? If it's going to be anything, it's going to be ceremonial. That's what I said before, too. Ceremonial doesn't mean you're really getting married. WTF says he has to take those classes, too. Right, exactly. It means he has to get out of his cell. He has to file certain paperwork. There's no way he's going to be able to do that. Why don't we just for now write this up in another one of his scams or whatever until it actually happens? And like I said, even if it can happen, there's no good or bad to it really, kind of how you look at it, because he would do that to throw it in everybody's faces, but he's thinking it's the wrong reason to get married, first of all. Don't put a woman's life in jeopardy. There's no divorce here. And marry her just to I'll show you type of attitude. It's going to totally fuck up her whole life. And if she doesn't realize it by now, then there's nothing more to be said. Let her marry him if it's possible. Why not? She'll have to pay the price down the line. Be the worst mistake she ever made in her entire life. And I don't know how many mistakes she's made in her life, but this, I would assume, would be the biggest mistake she's ever made in her entire life. Barry did his due diligence. He knows what assets she has. Yes. Remember he was talking about that? Long time ago. Well, if I marry her, she'll own this property and we'll be able to, do this and that, have a business together. And selfish. Well, he's thinking of himself. He did that with Sheila. That's why he wanted to get together. They have to be working women. They have to be women that are making money. He even said himself, well, I don't want to be a woman without no job. What he's really saying is, I need a woman to support my sorry ass. That's what he's saying. What a fucking loser. What a fucking loser. There should be a purge. The government should allow purging for one fucking day. I'm not totally against that movie. I think they should get rid of all the useless people out here that have done nothing but cause trouble to society, who actually have police records, real police records, criminal records, imprisonment, repeat offenders mostly. The planet is running out of natural resources. The climate is changing. There's a lot of shit going down the pike, folks, for these new generations, man, that they got to face. Don't feel sorry for all those people with gravestones out there. Don't feel too sorry for them. Except for the loss to their families. But these people are at rest. They don't have to witness the future. The future is here. We got scumbags like Barry that are making up a large amount of the populace on this planet. Losers, selfish people, violent people, and holy shit, with Trump as president, please don't let me get into that. Whew. If I could stay out of the United States, I will stay out. Let's put it that way, because it's not a place I really want to go back to. I could adapt to anything, but let me tell you something. U.S. ain't what it is. Popeye will say things like, Frank hates America. No, I don't hate America. I was born and raised, so were my parents. For a period of time, America was strong. I was very proud to say I was born and raised in America. Lived there for 28 years of my life before I moved out. No, I don't hate America. Absolutely not. I think when you're under bad leadership, under a dictator, Mussolini, Hitler, and so on. Now we got Trump. But hey, I didn't vote. People are moving out of the United States in mass numbers. But a lot of them want to come in, like the Mexicans, and they're being ousted out. I'll agree, I'm a fair person. I'm a fair person. I do not like Trump at all, for lots of reasons. But the one thing I do agree with him, well, there's actually two things I agree with. And that's about it. and whether it's Trump doing it or anybody else. One, get countries to pay up what they owe. That's right. But these are the same countries he's given. There's other countries. I mean, there's mercenaries that work for our government, well, mercenaries are generally working on their own, but they're paid, some of them, to deliver weaponry to our enemies in the United States. Oh, gee, that never happens. And he's also into, I'll say what I agree. Yes, get the illegals out of America. Absolutely. Sure. I agree with that. They've taken a lot of people's jobs. We're in agreement on that. I agree. But don't knock immigrants, whatever, as such, because they're the ones that built our country. By their dirty hands, they've done it. And some of them, they just couldn't find legal ways of doing it. And they had to take that route of getting into the country illegally. Because they knew the cartels took over Mexico. Cartels run the president, everything. The country is so fucking messed up. They wanted out of there. And you can't blame them for wanting it. Whether they were doing it legally or illegally, they wanted out of Mexico. You can't blame them. They want to go to the land of opportunity, but unfortunately, it's ironic or whatever, the United States is falling apart. It's divided in so many ways. Even electronic equipment has divided people. Not many people are talking face to face, or children are certainly not. And he's also making trouble with his own allies. Canada's a great ally. But he's pissing off the government of Canada and other countries, even Europe. And in Mexico, of course, they're all fired up. Sure, get rid of the illegals. I do agree on that. And the other thing I said that I thought was okay for Trump to do was to create these, but it's a two-way, it's a two-edged sword on this one. To create tariffs on certain countries. It's blackmail is what it is. If you don't do this, I'm going to raise your tariff. If you don't cooperate more, I'll double your tariff. He's creating enemies with friendly countries such as Canada. Raising tariffs. I understand that he's doing it in that region with Canada and Mexico because, the fentanyl that's coming into America and the other drugs. I totally understand that part. But don't, blackmail people, countries and say, if you don't do this, it's like the mafia or something, or some gang saying, I'm going to go after your little sister. I'll go after your mother's ass. If you don't listen to what I'm doing, if you don't like what I say, I'm going to raise the the tariffs even more. What kind of shit is that? We need trade, especially for lumber. Sure, the northwest region of the country, even over in the south, even the Carolinas, I believe they have a lot of pine that they grow there specifically for lumber. Not to make a forest, but to actually grow it for lumber. The Pacific Northwest all over has plenty of lumber. Of course, you got Weyerhaeuser out there in other countries, other companies rather. There's going to come a time when maybe our resources, something happens, a fire like in California, whatever, burns down a lot of the forest. That maybe someday we're going to need Canada's lumber. But Mr. Trump is not thinking that way. He just wants to push his power in his wallet around. make himself richer and richer. The guy's like almost in his 80s. He's got all the money in the world. Why would he want to go through the stress of being president again except just to be able to push his power? He's power hungry. Totally power hungry. Okay, I'm kind of getting off topic here, and I'm not going to stay on much longer. I got a shower yet, man. I was rake up this morning and whatnot, and had something simple to eat this morning. I got to head to the one-armed bandit this morning, pull out some more money. I got a few chores to do today. Well, I'm glad to see that Barry took his channel down. He should keep it that way, and unfortunately for him, I don't know, this should have kind of got in his brain a long time ago what he was doing. And with his death threats to me, as long as that information is able to be introduced to the courts, he's going to have some major problems, well beyond what he expected. To be honest with you, all the court really knows is what's on the original affidavits. And they do know that he pleaded guilty to calling me a pedo. They know that. But you see, they don't really know the heavy-duty evidence yet. That's why we have to file a motion to introduce this stuff. It's really important because that's going to determine his sentencing. That's why I'm so gung-ho and so happy he could oblige me by producing these shows and saying what he did. He fucked himself up totally on that. To my pleasure. Look, in all fairness, there's a lot of people like Barry Jordan. And you got some people that are almost as fucked up as he is. No names mentioned. They want to spend all their time, all these people proclaiming what a wonderful family life they have and how active they are, but they're all on YouTube. They're all on YouTube. Pointing fingers, joining the boys club, trying to be noticed and recognized. For what? I don't know. Barry's getting, and is going to get what he's got coming to him. I think he finally set in a little bit. And I'm thinking, because I try to read into things, that there's a lot of stress going on with his girlfriend right now. She's heard all this stuff. She's probably pissed off him about the murder shit. She's probably saying, well, if we're supposed to get married, what the fuck are you doing to help this situation, goober? Why bother with the marriage? Maybe that's what's going to happen. But like I said before, I don't give anything 100% as far as believing anything he says. He's come up with a lot of elaborate stories before. But do I think that he thinks that by getting married, it's going to help his situation to get to stay in this country? I say yes, I do believe that he believes that. But with all this shit going on now, and things have gotten worse instead of better for him, would it be worthwhile for him to get married to this poor woman? And I'm defending her. In regards and in light of you know what. Not at all. Not at all. But she went as far as what she did, and he encouraged her to do it. That's still, I believe that. He's even said it. And he used the exact words, coerce. I coerced my girlfriend to do a complaint. We have it on tape. That was turned in to that special Department of Immigration that she's trying to use to try to deport me. We'll see what goes on with that. I just hope she gets due justice coming to her for cooperating in such a little master plan. See, a lot of people, they don't think about somebody else's life when they're trying to do something to somebody. Let's say, for example, somebody doesn't like me, or whoever it might be. Take it out on me. Do what you need to do. But understand something. You could inadvertently hurt the family. The people that love these people, love me. Why should they suffer from this? Because someone don't like me or somebody else. Why? You don't know what goes on behind the scenes. You just don't. Most people really don't. Like what Shaw's trying to do to satisfy Barry. The good, God-fearing person that she is. Yeah, right. She proved that wrong. She doesn't understand that although she's trying to show honor to her boyfriend, she does not understand the consequences that go with this. She wants to hurt me to satisfy Barry, right? We figured that out. Does she not realize that if this ever happened, that she's hurting a lot of people? She's hurting Gilda. She's hurting her children. But you see, people are not thinking that way. They're not thinking that way. Oh, I got to do this for my boyfriend. Mary says that she is not going to drop her complaint. Okay, then we have to just go about this another way. Do I feel that there's going to be consequences at the end of this? Yeah. Sorry about that. I think she made a huge mistake. Wow, that was fun. He's so easily triggered. He really is. They're going to simulcast me. It worked better this way, Mr. Jordan. That was fun. Well, you know, you could only listen to his voice so long. Well, he's really down on the law system out here, I'll tell you that. He shows no respect at all. He thinks immigration is somebody's going to do him. He goes, what are they going to do, throw me out of the country? Well, even I could answer that question. Yes, they are going to throw you out of the country eventually, but I think there's going to be a little bit of time served in between. Oh, I don't think it's going to be 30 years. No, it's not going to be 30 years, but it's going to be more than a few. I'll probably tell you that. Especially after inciting murder. You might be in there for quite a while. That's what I'm thinking. It's just starting. This is all new stuff. Well, excuse me. It's not new. I've had threats before from him, documented, but this is all new material. And by golly, by George, we're going to use that new material. He's sweating his balls. Well, you know, if Brevis had all this money, he says he's got $1 million. I doubt he even has 1 million pesos. But, you know, Brevis is a talker. That's why he liked Fazio, because Fazio was a talker. He can relate to Fazio. But now that Fazio's dead, he's acting like he's really supporting Barry. He gives him $2,000, which is the biggest amount of money he's ever donated to Barry. And not even sure that came from his own pocket, really. And Barry almost fell off the chair. Oh my God, $2,000. Woo! Whoopee! Whoopee! Whoopi Goldberg. Country Road, I was watching your comments. You guys were excellent, man. Speaking the truth. A few months to heat. Humidity will be unbearable. Oh, God, yeah. Oh, he's gone through almost 2 years of that already. Special season for sure. It's kind of like a special sauce, but it's worse. It's going to be a special season. But you guys did good. What he did was, he's very predictable. Every time I answered his comments, and he couldn't think of what to say, and that's what he does. He'll put you on block or timeout. Well, I'm not the only person he does that to, but he especially does that to me. I could predict it. And it was predicted he would put me on timeout. Yet he's saying, "Oh yeah, come on your show, come on the show. You know, go on the StreamYard." He wouldn't do it. But I'm not that stupid to go on a StreamYard and get into an argument with him because that's what he wants. He underestimates my intelligence, but then again, he doesn't have any. And is not the Fed. Yeah, he blocks everybody, yes. How the heck does he expect anyone to give a crap enough to donate? Well, Drew's supposed to have all this money. How come he's not financing Barry? He's supposed to be, he calls himself an American millionaire. He's got $1 million, he says. $1 million. I don't think he's got 1,000,000 pesos. Oh, the trolls were out in force. Well, you guys were the trolls on his channel at the time. Good for you, man. He didn't want to answer none of your questions. You were overwhelming him. And I said he was to do the third party. I don't do no third party show. Came on yesterday. He was talking like he wasn't Barry. Then he comes on his show just now and goes under Guilty as Sin, which of course is his channel. It's a sock account. I'm not guilty as sin. Well, you are certainly guilty as sin in a court, but you are guilty as sin as far as that channel. Like, we can't figure that out. Many backing Frank in that chat. Yes, I noticed that. That was bothering him a lot. Yeah. He couldn't lay straight in bed. Well, it's ingrained in him, man. Everything is a lie with him. It's just ingrained in him. Don't expect to change. What do you expect him to say? Something nice? He knows he's facing prison time. You know, didn't he start to veer off the date now of his wedding? I heard something today, was it? Or last night? Or was it earlier today? Did you get drift of something today on that? There was something. I can't remember what it was. Bowman Shaw, Bonnie and Clyde, she knows all his cons and techniques. Well, you've been hanging around him long enough. You could pick up on that. Why she does, I don't even want to get into that, why she's with him. I mean, it's just the world's biggest mystery, you know. It's not as big of a mystery as you think, though. You can understand it's very hot and humid in detention. Oh, fuck yeah. When it gets really hot, a fan is not enough for me, I can tell you that. I'm heat intolerant, really. Yeah, I don't care. I've lived in a tropical place before, but it hasn't changed. I mean, I like being comfortable, you know. Should I guarantee you, I was in a situation like his, I'd have 4 fucking fans going. As long as I got the outlets, I'll even bring a goddamn cord, extension cord if I had to. Fuck yeah. He's sitting there and he's got this hot air blowing on him, because that's all the fan is doing, is hitting you with hot air. Yeah, that's as I said, Ken. Yeah, you guys did a good job with your questions in there. I got to give you that credit. He didn't know how to answer you guys. You did a good job. Did everybody leave his channel now? Because there's 22 people here now. Everybody leave his channel. except his admirers. Briefest. Yeah, he got mad again. And I told you, it's easy to trigger him. He sounded calm in the beginning, then I started coming on and gave it a few minutes or so, or 10 minutes, and he was back to being disturbed. Well, he's always been disturbed, if you know what I mean, but yeah. Yeah, well, it doesn't help your cortisol levels when you get that upset all the time, you know? Not the Fed says the Philippines is juxtaposing. Oh, I love the word. I use it all the time. Juxtaposing uh, need, let's see, aircon to stay cool, need not shower to wake up. Oh, juxtaposing. Someone with intelligence. And there's Sid the Hat Rack. We like when he yells. He has no control over anything. Oh, yeah, it's predictable, man. It's predictable. Give him a little bit, and he just lets loose. It doesn't take much. Can you imagine him in a long-term relationship with somebody? How he's going to just fucking verbally abuse a woman. I can see it now. Oh no! And once he gets to the point of yelling, it's like the switch that doesn't want to turn off. It's like a nervous tick. Yeah, he talks this about me and that, but who's free, me or him? There's no bars on these windows here. I need to get out of the house, I get out of the house. We went shopping today, we did chores, I did this, I did that. I walked down to the beach this morning, walked back. I mean, I got no bars. Well, I do got bars on my windows, some of them, but they're not holding me in. You know, I've got 4 exits. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I got 4 exits in this house that go in and they go out. 26 strong. Thanks for coming, folks. It's kind of a warm one out there. It was a little humid, too. What we do spend time is cleaning up these damn leaves. She's doing more of that now. Well, it's just that the ants gives a place for the ants to go on the leaves and stuff, and they come down with the leaves. So we sweep it up so there's not a lot of ants, those terrible fire ants out there, you know. Country Road says, I can't believe it's been almost 2 years locked up. And counting. And did he make up his mind yet if he's going to court or not? I'm not going to court. I don't need a lawyer. I'm Perry Mason. He is entertaining, I do admit that. But he said something about the marriage. I can't recall. He said something. Something's in the way. Dude, something in the way you laugh like no other. Boom, boom. Something in the way he runs his show. Tells his girl, I'm not gonna leave you now. I'm not gonna leave you now. Do 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 do. We can have a marriage. Although Paul will be in prison, or I might just be out of the country. Dum, dum, dum. Something in the way you smile, although I'll never be able to see it close up because I'll be in prison or out of the country. Okay. He said that last time. I have no lawyer. I'm not going to court. Oh, Laughing Larry. For someone like Brevis who claims to have money, he sure does love to run his mouth. That's all you do. Look, when I met Brevis, and one of the last things he said one time when he's leaving the gate, and I told you, so I'm not lying, I've said this before. He said, moving to this country literally saved his life. That was his words. And there's a lot of meaning behind that. Now that we also found out that Mr. Nordy had to get a restraining order to protect him and his family against some Hispanic guy. And I can't say it had to do with drugs because I haven't researched the rest of it yet. But something bad went down. He came here for a reason, just like Barry did, getting away from his child support. They're all running away from something. He said that last time, I have no lawyer, and I'm not, yeah, okay. How many people are on his show now? Oh, he doesn't like when I'm on at the same time, I know that. I took some of his audience away. Don't cry, Barry. He must have got really picked on as a child, and I'm not just talking about his father. I think he was kicked around and bullied by a lot of people. It shows. Yeah. He has no lawyer. Well, I'll tell you what. If he did still have a lawyer, then he's probably not going to because, boy, he was knocking his lawyer like crazy, besides knocking the immigration. But the beauty of this, I don't have his lawyer's email or nothing, but I'd certainly like to send him some clips of that. But, you know, one thing I do have, and I did send, was clips and so forth, and whole videos to Department of Immigration and DOJ. Yep, that I did. That I did. I most certainly did. Yeah. Hold on here a second. You betcha. Well, stop that. Stop. Immigration ain't going to be on his side. Immigration ain't going to be helping his ass out. And that's for sure. He took it down again. What is the game of peekaboo? I see you. You know why? I'll tell you why. He cannot handle adversity. Well, here's what's really going on. What's really going on is that he was strictly told that he can't use his phone for social media. So what he does, he'll sneak a show on now and then, erase it. So in case immigration is keeping a watch out on him, you're not going to see anything on there. But the stupid bastard doesn't understand that people record this shit, including me. So what he hides, I show them. Manison, who are you? Mama-san. Why does he whine like a child that he wants to go home moments later? Hold on, I gotta read this. The messages are going by. Why does he whine like a child that he wants to go home moments later? He tells his viewers he wants to get married so he won't have to depart. Well, the boy's confused. Laughing Larry says he was hoping to outsmart Frank so Frank wouldn't record. Country Road says, this Clint. Clint says, poor old, wish I could travel America. Country Road says, because he can't keep track of his lies, Mama-san. The guy lies so much that he can't even keep track of what he says for 5 minutes before that. Man, did you see him on Brevis's show when Brevis came over there last night? How big he got? Everything's fat. His arms, his legs, his belly. He got fat. I mean, he really got fat. We're not talking about muscle. We're talking about fat. fat. Because he can't keep track of his own lies. It's hard to. When you think about it, how often he lies. How could you keep track of everything you said? Then you forget that, oh, whoops, I said something else the other day, or 5 minutes before. Now I'm saying the other thing. This, that, and the others. He said, this, that, and the other. Doesn't he realize that, everything he's doing is being recorded? What do you think? How do you think I got so much evidence on him? I just let him do his show, and I record it. That's all. It's easy as pie. And boy, immigration got a mouthful, and that's why he got that letter. Remember he was online yesterday? Was it yesterday? Yeah. He gets that letter, and he reads it off, too, like an idiot. They're basically telling him that we got note of a threat, of death threats. So good. This is on record with immigration. They are aware of it. That's the great thing. They basically tell him that he needs to stop doing social media, but he still didn't listen to them. The moron still didn't listen to them. And he continued to make shows. He really thinks he's going to get any mercy in court? I don't think so. I actually don't go on Discord. I get a couple of fellas that write me every now and again. They tell me, oh, there's a bunch of shit going on Discord. No, I actually, honestly, I don't go on Discord. I get people that basically tell me that all's ablaze or something in YouTube. They're all going on about this murder threats and all this shit. And yeah. No, I actually don't go on Discord. Of course, I've known about Discord for a lot of years. The real Kristen Sabu used to go on Discord, and I heard he was holy murder on there. The seemingly non-assuming character that used to walk through the streets of the square was hell on wheels on Discord, actually. Aloe is betting on you versus Balma. He is Team Frank now. He ain't Team anybody. Team shit, my ass. So he takes it down again. I told you, I know the guy better than you think I do. He wants to come on and play hide and seek. Why don't they record his shit? Why are they recording mine? Why don't they do, the copycat channel? Why don't they copy all his stuff? It's a lot more interesting than mine. That's what I don't understand. I have no idea. But you're all getting enjoyment from this. I heard Don and, and Popeye this morning? Oh yeah, they really laid it out on Barry, that's for sure. Well, of course, Popeye's not going to say any sweet words about me, of course, but that's expected. One person thinks he's going to get 5 years, another one thinks he's going to get 25 years. Well, if he gets any time at all, I'll be happy. I'm not gonna come up with a number. How would I even know? For all I know, the judge could slap his wrist and say "bad boy." I mean, what the hell do I know? At least I'm being honest. I don't know, but I doubt that's what's going to happen. I highly doubt, especially now that we're going to introduce more evidence on this about, inciting murder on me. That's the first thing I'm going to have my lawyer talk before we begin the session. I wanted to start the hearing by saying something like, Your Honor, I need to address something first. That's what I'm going to ask him. I'm going to ask him to address the court and what currently has happened. That's exactly what we're going to do. I fully understand, Frank, certain things you cannot say. Well, yeah, he doesn't understand that at all. The concept of it. Talk about freedom. Who has freedoms anymore of speech? Really, who does? There are no freedoms. Not even in America, there's no freedoms anymore. You're lucky you can walk the street, but if you really want to think about it, there's a law that's been around forever in the United States, especially in New York. For some reason, you're just hanging on the street. What is nighttime? It's just a lack of sunlight in day. You're on the street at night in a on a street or store district or whatever. A cop can come up to you and label you as a vagrant. If you don't have any money in your pocket, they can arrest you for vagrancy. That law's been around for a long time. So please tell me about freedoms. There are no freedoms. Freedoms are being taken away. Now that you elected Trump, you got to be afraid to look somebody in their eye in any kind of unusual way. You might have something in your eye or something, a piece of dust or something, and you look at somebody and you're blinking or squinting your eye, and they're going to think, lawsuit, lawsuit, lawsuit. Well, it's not that I have anything great to say about Biden. I told you, I'm honest about my assessments of people. If you were to ask me, do you think Biden did a great job? No, I don't. But the worst of the two evils. What's the worst of the two evils? It's Trump. Trump is going to bring the United States to war. Because he's like Barry. He won't shut his mouth. And then putting tariffs on some of the friendly countries is pissing them off too. When does the United States piss off another country? They're always pissing off. They have enemies just like Barry. He creates enemies. America is a place, or United States of America, has a bad habit of telling countries how they can govern their people. What they need to do. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. They will govern their country, it's their country, as they see fit. Just like America will govern the country, their own country, as they see fit. But somehow, it's not fair. But then the other thing I might mention on this, I really don't want to get political, he's telling certain nations that you got to get rid of your nukes. Well, wait a minute. You got to lay the cards on the table. Why don't the United States get rid of their nukes? Why are they going to tell another country? And what is he worried about right now? What was it? One country he was worried about that's probably getting nukes. Anyway, he's saying, you got to get rid of your nukes. That's retarded. How could you tell another country to get rid of their nukes if you have just a huge overstock of nukes yourself? That doesn't make any fucking sense. You can't say that to a country. But he does. Trump ain't going to be around much longer. He's getting really up there in age. He's under stress all the time with his businesses. His cortisone level is probably so high. I don't think he'll make it through his term. That's my prediction. Or perhaps another incident might happen. You remember what happened to him several times. Somebody tried to sniper him, There's a lot of people that don't like Trump out there. You think there's a lot that like him, but there's a good-sized number of people that don't like him. He's got to be careful. No, I don't like Trump. I could definitely tell you that. Which you people don't realize, for those that are still living in the United States, what you don't realize or don't understand, he's getting rid of the middle class so that the higher class with money has more power over the poor. Why do you think there's been so many riots throughout history? Power to the people, power to the people, power to the people, because they, the rich have been empowered. And the people with less money have been impoverished. That's the way the government is structured. That's the new, what do you call it? The new era. The rich will always be in control. Well, the rich, Stallone and all these people, they're all flashing their fucking gold. And their fucking 25 cars in their garage. In a 36-room house. Like they need 36 rooms. Really. Everything in America is to impress. It's all to impress. Impress who? I don't know. Money does control the world, let's face it. It's not love that controls the world, it's money. Okay? People just don't show enough love. Or they mix love with lust. Oh, I love my girlfriend. No. He lusts his girlfriend. He lusts his girlfriend. Doesn't love his girlfriend. He's in lust with women. He wouldn't know what love is. Trump will announce he's pardoned Barry in 2 weeks. Yeah. Well, Barry boy's got some connections, though. What was that one thing he talked about that made everybody laugh? It was the, oh, please enlighten me on this one. That was behind him. Oh, God. Not the American Legion. It was something else. What was it? It refreshed my memory. What was that organization or something? Oh, the Geneva Convention. He's going to call the Geneva Convention. He didn't even know what the fuck the Geneva Convention is. What about EV? Oh. Well, I don't know. The only thing I know about him is that we got one of them right here. Well, not of a car, but EV bike, electric bike. It gets around. It's a spiff. It's a nifty little thing, spiffy. Let the kids use it, and they drive us around. They like driving us. They don't mind. No, they're going on fire. They're killing people, these cars. They're killing people. The batteries are so expensive. For those, it's not worth it. Circuitry goes bad, they get on fire. And it gets on fire really quick with the electric cars. People have actually died in these electric vehicles. Yeah, I remember that. The Human Rights paid him, and somebody and the commissioner also came to see him too. Oh yeah, not the feds. The commissioner on human rights, yeah, is the Philippines Independent Human Rights Institution. It investigates human rights violations, including civil and political rights. And they came to see him. He is the poorest excuse for a human that I've ever met in my entire life. I'm serious. If he had to have an IQ test, I'd love to see that. I don't know what my IQ is. I never tested it. But this guy, I mean, look at Musk. I mean, that guy has like a 155 IQ. There's some other people. Bill Gates has a fairly high IQ too. All these geniuses do. But Barry, if they can measure it, they have no power to do anything. Well, yeah, I know that. Just like, the U.S. Embassy, I think there was one time in history that you could actually go there and take refuge. It's never heard of now. You can't go. You ever see all these movies? They're in some foreign country and they go on U.S. Embassy grounds and they're protected. Well, did you ever see the movie when the U.S. Embassy was getting, it's based on a true story, when the U.S. Embassy, I forgot what country it was, Bogota, I don't know where it was. Was it Colombia? I don't know. When they got invaded and they had to bail out of there, it used to be, to my knowledge, and please correct me, I don't mind you correcting me, that the U.S. Embassy, as long as you could put foot on the U.S. Embassy, you were protected. But now, it's completely the opposite. They don't do that. They don't even help you. And if you try to talk to the embassy for any reason, they're going to tell you, we are not lawyers. We could only see if you got your toothbrush, if you're being treated okay. We can help you make a phone call to your relatives. That's all they do. They could help you perhaps with maybe your passport or something. The embassy is not what it used to be. It's not. Barry has an under, is that a 10? 100, well, it's definitely under 100. Fuck. Most U.S. embassies and consulates have local law on the order parameters to stop visitors. I just remember all these movies. We gotta make it to the embassy. We gotta make it to the embassy. We'll be protected there. And how long ago that was? A century ago. The U.S. Embassy's not going to protect your ass if you get in their doors. You're not protected from shit. Not at all. The local cops are told to not let anyone in, even if it's USA. Let's see. The days of crashing to the gate and having a Marine let you in are long over. Well, I've been to the embassy in the past over here. Usually there's somebody at the door inside. What do you need, whatever, before they let you over to the desk or whatever. Or let you actually inside the actual area with his chairs. So you have a kind of a big counter when you walk in there over here in Cebu. And then they got like a swinging door, they lock her to let you in. Then you can sit with the other people and wait and take a number till you'll turn. And that's what they're doing. Yeah, crashing to the gate and having a Marine let you in. That's long over. I don't know what Barry thought the U.S. Embassy could do for him. Can you imagine he has pissed off so far every agency out there, every single agency. How do you accomplish that? Well, he did. God, now immigration. Holy shit, what he said about immigration. What he said about immigration. How he talked about immigration. It's been recorded, man. I said, I'm quick on that shit. I am quick on that shit, bro. You bet I am. That's the best recordings I've done, other than the threats, the recent murder, inciting others to murder me and saying he wants to kill me and put a bullet in my head, and how he's encouraging people they should pay somebody $50,000 to go put a bullet in my head. Oh, that's gonna hurt. Oh, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt. Come on. Sure. Come on. Can't people just walk by? Well, I don't even need a CCTV with these dogs, let me tell you that. Except to record something, but these dogs, they may not be no big old German shepherds or something, but these dogs are highly protective. They're highly territorial. Highly territorial. With a family of 4 on a motorcycle. I've seen a family of 6 on a motorcycle. Yeah, Marines letting you in. Well, those days are over. I don't know, guys. You really want to really waste any more oxygen talking about Barry? I've taken care of some shit I need to do today. That's why I'm doing a show. But, well, not just that, because Barry just did a show. And again, I thought it was hilarious. So I thought it'd come on and take all his people away. And it did. And if you're figuring why the new trend of him taking the show down his channel, it's not really complicated. It's because it's a hit and run situation. He wants to get on because he knows he has to say something about me. He has to. It's impossible not to. And say what he has to say, then he runs away. Hit and run. Did you hear him talking about what a tough guy he was again? Oh, nobody's going to mess with him. But God, that video again on Brevis's channel. With Brevis again with the brisket. Brisket. Highly fattening, high cholesterol. Barry won't even make it into prison or get through it, believe me. Yeah, Barry got big. He did. But not in a healthy way. He gained a lot of weight. But then he started to get scared about his weight. He certainly did. Well, I'm going to start exercising, eating right. How do you eat right through grab? Please tell me. Then he said something that was really ridiculous, too, which he always does. They just serve no healthy foods out here. I can't order any. Well, he's got this girlfriend supposed to be in love with him. He's going to marry. He said he wants a salad. Oh, boy, I wouldn't do for a good salad. Well, his girlfriend does everything else for him. Why don't she prepare him a nice garden salad? She's never come over there to give him a salad. What's with that? Oh, yeah. He said, I know how to fight. You don't know how to fight shit. You ran away from every situation he's ever had. Again, he talks about, not this time, but talks about TGIF quite a bit. You guys know the exact situation would happen with that. He wouldn't fight with his hands. In fact, he said this so many times when he lived in a Malbow and lived with, what's that lady, was the renter, you know. He said it so many times. I can't fight anybody. I'm not in shape to fight. I'm all broken up. I got to use a weapon. That's the only way I can protect myself. So what? He's going. And then the great thing is, though, I got that. That's recorded too. Is the he says if they give me more than a couple of years in prison, he's gonna run over and beat the shit out of me in the courtroom. Oh, I love every minute of it. I love every minute of what he says. Thank goodness I'm quick on the trigger for recording. Yeah, I'm real quick. You just never know when I'm recording. You just never know. But he should know that whenever he's on, he's being recorded. Period. Thank goodness I have. There's something off with his face. Yeah, you were on Barry's show. Like he had a stroke or something? Did you see something with his mouth? You said something on Barry's show. So I had to go back and look at when he was at Brevis's. Yeah, and that's what you were referring to, yeah. Yeah, there is something not right. Well, I mean, he put a lot of weight on his face. His face is now puffed out like a puffer fish, but he might have had a stroke and he don't even realize he had a stroke. He's you know, needless to say, he's been under a lot of stress. People think I'm always so stressed out when it comes to Barry, but you know, you just see me around. I sing and dance and Gilda, my love.
My love.
What do I do around here? Do you see me singing and dancing all the time?
Yeah.
Isn't that a pretty regular thing with me every day?
Yes, that one because you.
Do I seem like I'm highly stressed and depressed?
No.
I sing a lot, I dance around,
Yeah.
do goofy things.
Then you make me laugh all the time.
Make her laugh all the time. Because I'm a fun guy, and I don't mean a mushroom, a fun. A fungi, more than one mushroom. If you don't know what that means, a fungi means more than one. Barry, I always try to teach you something. In fact, I got him, swear to God, I got him looking into doing exercise and eating better. He looked at himself on the video and he saw himself and said, yikes. Drinking my Pocari Sweat. And that's what I said when I seen him twice on the camera. Yikes. Boy, that boy, he then done gone and gained some goddamn weight. Whew, I'm telling you, man. Put this on.
Are you on already?
Oh, it is on.
It's just on.
Okay, yeah, it's kind of warm in here. Kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You eating those peanuts? Watch it, girl. You're going to get like Barry. Yeah.
No, I eat little bit.
You get a handful a day. You're allowed to have a handful a
Like
day.
something.
Yeah, a handful a day you're allowed on that. Not that I'm allowing you. I'm saying that it's healthy to have a handful of nuts per day on the peanuts, and they are healthy. But more than a handful is like, kind of like more than a mouthful with some chick's tit, Yeah, there's something off with his face. It's not, he said it's not just the weight. Yeah, now that you mention that, I'd have to go back and look at it again, but there is something that's off. I did a recording, but I put some titling on there, and it was kind of like covering his face. I'd have to go back to Brevis's original show, not the one I put out, and look at that and try to enlarge that, because there is something kind of strange. Well, there's always been something strange about his face, but but yeah, there was something different going on with the contour of his face or something. Maybe he had a mini stroke or something. You don't even realize it. Was it his mouth you're thinking, or what was it that you noticed? What was it you noticed? Mama-san, one of my bar girls told me Brevis has a tiny cauliflower appendage. Well, that wouldn't surprise me. Maybe if you lose enough teeth, your stuff changes. Well, yeah, I mean, your cheeks on either side of the face, they sink in. You ever see these really old guys, you've seen on the movies or something, or, well, not in movies, in real life, just walk around Cebu, really. And you see these old people that haven't had teeth for probably 30 years. And there's something really strange about it. They're always moving their mouth like they're chewing something, and they're not chewing anything. They're always going. Their mouth is constantly moving like a machine. I'm not sure what that's all about. Producing saliva, I don't know. But what happens is their cheeks, they shrink in so much, it changes the contour of their face. But I've seen it, and I don't know, I don't know everything, okay? Although you think I do, but I don't. But I've seen a lot of these people that didn't have teeth for a long time, and they're constantly moving their mouth like they're chewing something, and they're not chewing anything. And I'm not sure. It might be something interesting to look up on Google. See, when I get curious about something, I look up something on Google. When something comes to my mind, I need to know an answer. I'm very curious about a lot of stuff, different stars, their net worth when they were living, when they died, what are they worth now, band members and stuff, for example, just examples. Singers, rock and rollers, actors. Clint Eastwood just had, I think, his 94th birthday, too, also. That's why it's important that if you lose a tooth, you need a bridge or implant to fill the void. Yeah. James Ballsworth, so he's still smoking. I'm thinking that he is, Mr. Ballsworth. I'm thinking that he is. I'm always hearing the lighter. And then there's this cough that comes, and yeah, I think his stress level has gone to the point. I think he's probably still smoking. Certainly he's vaping, I know that, but I think, he was talking about it, I think I'm going back to smoking, because, Look, let me tell you something. I was in Hawaii, and let's just say I had a stressful situation with my brother, okay? And I had stopped smoking for a whole month, more than a month, man. It was a while. I was so proud of myself, too. But then what happened was a stressful situation comes up, and then you just have this attitude, fuck it, fuck everything. And you go out and you buy yourself a pack. He was disappointed that I, was doing so well. The thing is, when you quit smoking after a while, it becomes every day. You just don't even think about it. You're just not smoking anymore. You're not bothered by it. But you have to do it. That's the whole thing. That's the hardest part. That's the hardest part. You have to do it. You just have to do it. But nevertheless, when you are really stressed out with a situation, that's why drinkers go back to smoking. The wife leaves them or something, or you get a stressful situation. The wife's husband leaves her, and she starts drinking, hitting the bottle. And what they don't understand about drinking, drinking is a depressant. And you're trying to drink to forget and feel better about a bad situation. But guess what? It's doing exactly the opposite. The opposite. Not the Fed says jawbone shrinkage without the stimulation of your teeth. Your jawbone can lose density and shrink. Yes. That's happened to my brother. Almost to the point he couldn't get false teeth. There's nothing to adhere it to, really. Excuse me. This can make your face appear shorter and sunken. Yeah, that's how it works. Ballsworth says you could see. Yes, you were the one that. Yeah, somebody sent me. Yes, somebody sent me a photo of that. You said you could see the cigarette in one of his last shows when he was pointing out the window. Yes, I've got a picture of that, and I got that sent to me in the email. And it looks like something that it was either a real cigarette or it was a rolled up version of a cigarette or some kind of a skinny cigar type of thing. He definitely had something to smoke in his hand. So he's back to smoking. He's back. I drink to slow down my mind, to rest better at night. Well, that's why I take what I take at night. They make fun of that all the time, but I don't take normal, like Ambien or shit like that. That's worse than, believe it or not, that's worse than what I take. And like I said, I only take a 0.25 milligram, a quarter of a milligram. And all it does helps relax the mind, it relaxes your respiration a little bit to allow you to sleep. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to get umpteenth hours of sleep from taking it. It's not like a regular sleeping pill. They don't work for me. But unfortunately, people have found out there's more problems with sleeping pills than benzos because some people walk in their sleep. They even get a little violent. There's a new drug on the market for sleep. And believe me, I forgot the name of this thing. It was a hard name to remember to begin with. There's a couple of new drugs on the market for that, but they were talking about it on a forum where the guy was punching his bed overnight. He was getting violent. And his partner was getting scared that he was going to punch her out. So, yeah, some of the side effects of that stuff is not really good. Hey, look, I've been doing this for quite a long time. It's part of what I do. If something helps, you use it. If something don't help, you don't use it. Simple as that. That's all. Do you have a particular medicine that helps perhaps some pain you have for joints or whatever it might be? Then you're going to use it, right? You're not going to suffer the pain. When I had the kidney stone thing going on, oh, man. But I was still careful. Fozzie used to pop ibuprofen like they were M&Ms. You're only supposed to take a total for the whole day not to exceed 1,200 milligrams. He was popping the, the 400 milligram tablets about 8 times a day. That's 3,200 milligrams a day. Do you realize what it does to your liver? Holy cow. He was popping those things like fucking like candy. You gotta watch it with that stuff. Well, I can see somebody having a nice glass of wine with their dinner, help you relax. You come to home, you got a family, you got a job, you come home from work, and you have to listen to the kids screaming. So you wait till they go to bed. You have your dinner with your wife, have a nice glass of vino, and it's just red wine, red wine. It's best, and it helps calm you down a little bit. I don't drink at all, but we have 2 bottles of some wine right here, right now. Who knows? One day we'll pop it out. But yeah, I could see having a nice glass of wine. The guy had a hard day's work, comes home to a nice dinner. His wife cooked up for him. That's nice. Have a nice glass of wine with your dinner and relax. Watch a movie together with the family or your wife. And just relax, and he'll be able to ease his mind a little bit. But when you get into heavy drinking, like Jay, all these assholes that are pulling their channels down, they come hit. I call them hit and run people. They're all hit and run. Jay was hit and run. He said a lot of shit about me, and Barry was hit and run. He takes his channel down again because he doesn't want the immigration to see that he's doing that. But it's a little bit late for that because I dated my videos that were sent over to immigration about his death threats. A little late, just a little bit late. Hello, brisket. Okay, not defensive. Magnesium and potassium. I do take magnesium for joint, but I don't just take it for that. And there's different types of magnesium. Citrate, carbonate. There's several, and I have a particular one I take. That's glycinate. I ran out of, but I have the citrate. Take that before you go to bed. Well, before you get to bed, it helps relax your muscles and does different stuff. It helps a little bit. I'm not saying it helps a lot, but it helps. But that alone is not going to put you to sleep. Sometimes when you have a very busy mind, and I'm a person who does have a very busy mind, it's like living in a big city and the traffic is just beeping their horns and, tons of traffic going by. And you want to yell out and say, stop, but you can't stop the traffic. So a lot of times I go to bed, and it could even be a song on my mind, it sticks to my mind. It could even be a song, could be anything. Did I have a stressful day? Or, you go to bed with that. So I'm not exactly the only person that takes this medicine to help guide the sleep. Believe me, I'm not. I'm believing hundreds and hundreds of thousands of Americans, if not millions, I'm sure, actually, take particular medicines like benzodiazepine because they work. It doesn't mean you go into a deep sleep, but I do. I go into REM, which doesn't necessarily mean a deep sleep all the time. Rapid eye movement, that's REM. But I do reach that. I do have dreams. So I just don't sleep a very long time. Now, if I took the other benzo called, what the fuck, which I have here too, very legally with prescription. I don't have any drugs that are not prescription bound, and I'm not legal. That's why if I go anywhere and take this medicine, I always take the written prescription with me to prove it, because you have to in this country. Yeah. But I got other medicine that lasts longer. It stays in your system longer. But I don't take that unless for some reason I really had to. Okay, what else here? Is it me or did Jay? Yes, he did, Country Road. Jay shot out a lot of ammunition at me that he got scared when I was talking about the epileptic fit he had with Barry long years ago. And that there's a law out here that they do not let people with epilepsy come into this country. I don't know if you knew that or not. But he got scared that, because he knows I mean business. I said, don't let me go there, is what I told you, Jay. What I told the Jay. He got scared when I said that. Yeah, that's why he took his channel down. He had a lot to say about me, and I had a lot to say about him. But when I knew that he had a fit and he had a seizure when he was living with Barry, he said, I don't have epilepsy. Then Jay also said that he was never on medicines. He doesn't take medicines. But then Barry said, no, Jay doesn't have epilepsy. It's just a reaction to the medicines he takes. Isn't that funny? On one hand, Jay's saying he don't take no medicines. And then Barry's saying, to defend him, saying that Jay doesn't, that Jay, it wasn't an epilepsy, that Jay had a reaction to some medicine he took. So which is it, Barry? You're always switching. Are you like a pinch hitter? What are you? You go from lefty to righty. You just switch stories when it's convenient for you, Barry. Yeah, some people have the night leg syndrome. Oh God, I'm glad I don't have that. There's nothing wrong with the benzos. It gets a bad reputation. Benzos come in the form of a 1/4 milligram, 1/2 milligram, 1 milligram, and 2 full milligrams. Do you realize there are people that are taking 2 milligrams 4 times a day at least, on top of yet another medicine? And I'm over here with a 1/4 of a milligram, and they're making a big stink about it, like I give a fuck what they think. If something helps, it helps. Shit, I could get off the benzo shit. If it's only a 1/4 milligram, I could get off that tonight. It's not going to affect me, except, well, I'm not going to sleep as well. So you got a choice. And the choice is something working for you, or is it not working for you? Which is it? Like Barry's story. Did he get hit over the head with a bottle of beer, a rock, or a stick? Always a story. What works for him? Was it better to say he got hit over the head with a beer bottle than a rock or a stick? Yeah, not that. Yeah, medicine, shabu, and drinking. I don't know what he does, but I've heard my stories about Jay, but I'll keep it to myself. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with benzos. I've been taking that for quite a few periods of time. It hasn't affected me one goddamn bit. I go on these forums, these people that have been on it for 35 fucking years. They have no problems with their liver, pancreas, anything. And not everybody who goes on benzos and stuff gets Alzheimer's or anything like that. Me, I was just born confused. That's my excuse. Okay. But I don't worry about it. I get it legally. That's all that matters. And you can't just get it out here. Believe me, people would pay me a ton of money for that stuff. They would pay me a ton of money. But I don't sell drugs. And I remember when I was in Hawaii, I had a neighbor who was coming down from his drinking withdrawals. He came out to my door. He was my neighbor, not in my house, but the neighbor the next lot. And he wanted to get an alprazolam, which is, a benzo. Xanax, same thing, I said, man, I can't do it. Because they got a law out there. You distribute drugs, you're going to get 10 years. I was not even willing to help him out. Not when it came to that. I said, get your own. Go see a doctor, specialized, and see if you could get it. I didn't even want to give him. Didn't even want to give him it. I couldn't do it. The only time I ever gave anybody one was my brother, because a very good friend of his died that was from Seattle, and he came in, and he was really just disturbed. Can I get one of those off you? He told me what was wrong, and I said, here, take one. Try to relax. But I would not give it out in the street to anyone, to my brother. When he needed it that time, I was certainly willing to, the thing is, he could not take them to go to sleep because he had really bad lung damage. Remember, he's down to his oxygen level in the 80s. It's a bad thing about, there's only one thing bad about the benzos. One thing I could tell you that is bad about it. Don't develop lung problems. That could be a concern in the future. I don't know. Because it suppresses whatever you're around. Your respiration. And if you're taking a lot of that stuff, you know, you could die in your sleep. And people have died in their sleep. Yeah. Look at, what was it, Matthew Perry from the Friends show? It wasn't benzos, but it was another drug. Oh, some crazy drug, man. He took that to relax. He was in the bathtub and he went to sleep, and under the water he died. His whole career ahead of him. Drugs have taken over the world, unfortunately. But the way I look at people have a, you know, do you have a heart rhythm problems? Do you have do you have anxiety? Do you have depression? Do you have heart problems? Do you have diabetes? Do you have gout? Do you have whatever? That's why there's medicines out there. It's not just to make farmer rich. And I'm sure there's other ways and things you could take that might help. But when the chips are down and you're in need of something, like you've got a lot of pain or something, I still got about 5 hydrocodone here. Of course, I got my prescriptions right on the bottle. Still never touched it. I'm not a druggie like that. I got it right here. I got hydrocodone right here. But I got a prescription for it, though. It's old. It's from way back. Probably still good. But I never even took it. Even when I had pain with the kidney stone thing, I still never took it. I should have. It probably still works. You can't have drugs like that out here unless you got some written prescription for it. You can carry it over from another country, that's fine, and you better do that because you ain't going to get anything out through the security with, you know, different types of drugs. Oh, where'd that come from? Okay, I think I'm played out on this. So Barry ran away again. Poor boy. I'm such a poor boy, nobody loves me. Scaramouche, Scaramouche. That boy is really fucked up, man. I could say to myself, I could almost feel sorry for him, but I just can't. I can't bring myself. He's too volatile to feel sorry for. He's just much too volatile. He's out of control. He completely lost it. You know how I always say he's losing it? Now I say it's different. He completely lost it. He lost his monkey-ass mind. Oh, he ain't going to court. Oh, you're full of shit. He'll show up on camera or something, and his lawyer will either be there or be on camera. He's so fucking full of shit. But the question is, why is or will his lawyer still want to represent him after the way he talks about his lawyer? Let me tell you something. If I was a lawyer and I was representing that goober and he talked to me like Barry talks about his lawyer, you know, I'd say to the judge, sorry, I can't do this. I got an uncooperative client. I got a client that is actually saying defaming things about me. I cannot, in my own, I owe it to myself that I just cannot represent this man. I need to suggest that he gets himself a new attorney to represent himself. That's exactly what I would do if I was an attorney. I wouldn't do it any different. So how is he talking about his future? What future does he have? If he doesn't even have a lawyer, if he doesn't even have a lawyer to represent him. You see him going on the floor, Your Honor, waving a piece of paper like he did last time. Can you just picture that? Can you just picture that? That's something for the camera, if you could get it legally. Boy, that would be something for... That would be a show. Wow. That would be something that everybody would want to watch. Because it would be hilarious. You would think it was a sitcom or something, but it'd be real. It would be real. Look at this shit on here. Mama Sauce. He said he has no money. Dan said B.I. can't have his phone because he don't want them to see his banking information. I know, he contradicts himself every single time. Banking information. He said over his dead body. He said over his dead body, and maybe they'll accommodate him, that they're going to take his phone away. Let me tell you something. You get violent with these officials, they're going to shoot your ass. They'll shoot you and ask questions later. He's messing with this is not, I mean, they do that in America now these days, but this ain't America, man. This is the Philippines. They don't put up with that kind of shit here. They want to go home to their families and everything like anybody else does. They do not. They're a little bit trigger happy sometimes, but that's happening in America too with cops being cut. They're all becoming trigger happy. But I tell you what, the police are walking around with automatic weaponry these days. You don't fuck with the police out here, I'll tell you that right now. And I'll tell you what, he pissed off somebody. No names mentioned. An officer. He pissed off. This guy don't like him. Let me tell you, when I say he don't like him, just trust my words. There is a gentleman that he tried to say was being bribed, and I think you know who I'm talking about, and don't mention any names on here. He does not like Barry. Oh, he made it clear to me. He does not like Barry at all. I think he wants Barry to piss him off. I think he'd look forward to that. He would. I know, he says he has no money for this, but he's buying booze. He was drunk yesterday, guys. In a fucking cell. He was drunk. He already had a bottle. He wanted to buy another bottle of Jim Beam. So he asked his new mate, do you want to go half on a bottle? The motherfucker was drinking in cell. Where were the guards? Where were the guards? And why did they allow him to drink in his cell? Why does he have all these freedoms in his cell? Well, the cat's out of the bag now from the New Year's Eve party and so on. They got word of this. They now know what's going on with him. That's why he got that letter. You know how fast he got it? It was toot sweet. That letter to immigration about his death threats was sent to the immigration the day before. I kid you not, the day before he received it in his cell, that he was reading it aloud. It was the day after my report went in to immigration about his death threats. And it was entitled about the death threat to Frank Battaglia. Now they know. They know exactly what's going on. They're watching him now, every fucking move. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And the way he talked about immigration, you think they're not listening other than me sending him material? Do you think they don't know what's going on in his cell now, especially now? Don't kid yourself, folks. They know what's going on. And there's going to be repercussions. He made things from bad to worse. From bad to worse. I'm going to have the last piece of this watermelon here. Very healthy. I don't like the seed shit in here, but... And then we're going to end the show in a few minutes, I think, here. Got to spend some time with my lady. And yes, I absolutely do. I kind of parlay my time. I'll use a certain amount of time if I'm going on social media. I have a certain amount of time I'll actually... Sometimes I go the whole day without even looking at TV. Because I actually do other things. Believe it or not, Don and Popeye, Barry, and I do actually do other things besides
talk about Barry. I know it seems like that's an impossible task or something probably ridiculous to say. But yeah, Barry is not my life. He's part of the legal part of my life. That's about as far as it goes. I really don't think about him when I go to bed like he does. He's consumed with me. I'm like the beast that ate him up. He's completely consumed by me. I live in his head night and day. And he's not sleeping well. He gets up sometimes in the middle of the night and does shows. And he's really worried about his weight now. Well, he should be. I mean, the combination of the stress from all these legal proceedings and his yelling into his microphone, and man, did you see how pissed off he's been lately? Man, it's really getting to him. Yeah, Mama Son says maybe he gives them lagai, is that how you pronounce it? Dear,
Yes.
help me with this little bit of watermelon that's left. There's nothing left. There's two good pieces for us. I don't want to waste it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Horrible knife. Let's buy some. You know, speaking of knives, there's one thing that perplexes me when I go into a store. I notice something. You looking for knives, like steak knives or something? It's one thing I noticed. We went into DIY. We have one in town. You cannot find a knife that's serrated. Maybe they look at that as being like a weapon. But they had a selection of knives in there because I wanted to get some steak knives. Nothing they had was serrated. I don't know why. Pardon me. You know, maybe there's something to that. Okay, guys. We're still 24 strong, but I got to get off here, if you don't mind. Yeah, Barry ran away again. You're a loser. You're a coward, dude. You always will be. Stop acting tough. People know you, Barry. They all know you. Your girlfriend could beat the shit out of you. Stop talking about how much of a tough man you are. You're not a tough man, Barry. You never were, you never will. The only one thing I do know about you, I can say for sure. Excuse me, I'm sounding like him. God forbid. Is that when you drink, you become a tough guy. And that's what gets you in trouble. Every single time. They call it beer muscle, liquor muscle, whatever you want to call it. My dear, if you could ever find my reading glasses, let me know.
Reading glass and wait.
I don't particularly need it at the moment, but...
Reading glass and kitchen table.
Ooh, you're half naked.
Take shower.
Oh my God. Lovely woman she is, let me tell you. Natural wonder. Such a lucky guy. Oh, what a lucky man I am. Oh, what a lucky man I am. And I am. I admit it. I don't deserve her. I don't. But I got her. She loves what she has. She wouldn't be with me for 9 years. No, she wouldn't. She's got the house. She's got her own money. If I was that bad of a guy, she don't need me.
I'd be gone a long time ago. I'd be gone a long time ago. But she's still here, and I'm still here. So, Barry, I'm sorry to hear that you're back to smoking again. But that's the least of your problems right now. And, Barry, I know something that you don't know. I'm just not saying anything yet. I know something you don't know. Not going to tell you. I don't want you to hang yourself. Well, I don't care if you do or not, to be quite frank with you. My hands are washed with you. Let the court take over, man. Let them do their job. Talking about this is not doing anybody any good. Once we get more information in to the court, to the judge, as to your inciting people to murder me, your own personal intent and voicing out that you want to kill me, along with enticing other people to give somebody $50,000 to a local Filipino to kill me. Immigration's got it all, bud. Can't wait for Barry to go live. He will at some point. He's just taking down his shows, and so he can't help but do a show. Well, I mean, I'm kind of like that myself. I mean, if it's worthwhile. Because if he said something that was so absolutely stupid and it was hilarious, there's a good chance I'm going to put a show on to have my laugh about it. It's a little different because in his case, being in a cell like that, it's like mandatory. He needs somebody to talk to other than an occasional visit from his girlfriend or the guards or when he gets a cellmate. And most of them probably, they hear when he's yelling on the phone, they probably want nothing to do with him. Pretty lonely in that cell, I imagine. I don't even want to imagine, really. Anyhow, oh well. You can't wait for him to go on live. I can't wait to see him in an orange jumpsuit. You want honesty, there you go. That's when I'll be real happy. But word's going to go out before that trial starts again in March. And I don't know where somebody came up with dates. I have no idea what the date is in March. I don't even know. I don't even know. It's in March. I know it's in March. But I'm going to give instructions. The judge, I'm going to tell my lawyer. I said, I'm going to have a long trip in his car to get to Toledo. That's right. I actually travel with my lawyer. Believe it or not. Yeah. And usually his associate comes. I got 2 lawyers that are representing me. Barry don't even have one, or if he does, he doesn't really want to represent him. Yeah, I got 2. 2 mints in 1. 2 lawyers in 1. And Don is waiting for my money to run out. How much money do you think I have, Don? Seriously. Don says, I bet he doesn't even have $50,000 in the bank. Well, I'm not going to tell you how much I have in the bank. I'll bet you you're wrong. That's all I'll say to that. Even my tightest confidant I used to talk to all the time does not even know. He knows what I told him. But you see, I never trusted the guy. Never trusted him. I tell Gil all the time, I think he's one of the rats on here. And for 3 years I was talking with this guy. 3 years. I kid you not. A lot of information was exchanged. And I had to learn to watch every single thing I said to him, because I had the notion that he was an informant. Well, he was actually an informant. That he got somebody in jail, a big guy, a big position, whatever, and there's people out that want to kill him, friends and associates. And that's why he's always kept to himself. He goes from his house he rents into his car, gets out of his car, goes to wherever he's going, like a mall, shopping, You don't see him walking around streets a lot, anything like that, because he's afraid for his life. He was an informant. Now, my situation, well, Bummer created his own situation. Okay? If it didn't involve me, and actually, this guy really didn't have a real involvement with the guy he put in jail. He really didn't. He just decided to snitch, period. There was no personal gripe, I think, going on between him and this guy, unlike me and Bummer. Okay? That was different. Don, Mama San says, Don looks like he's around 80 or 85. Yeah, he does. I got a great picture of him right here. But actually, it's an older picture, and he still looks old. He's got a big old gray in hair, gray beard. And he's got yellow teeth. Did you see the thing I put up of somebody's yellow teeth? That was Don. That was Don Crawford's teeth. He probably smokes or something. They talk about me. I at least brush my teeth. That's why I have teeth. But he has some really yellow-ass teeth. Don has yellow teeth. Have I ever seen or heard Don C's wife? No, I haven't. I really haven't. I don't really care to, but that's not a big thing. I'm sure it's kind of a subservient situation, whatever, going on. The way he runs his mouth on YouTube, I would imagine that he runs his mouth in his relationship too, I would imagine. Some things just don't change. Yeah, I might be my age, and I have no problem with that. I can't change time. Simple as that. Sure, every one of us, we had a magic wand or something. We would, the biggest thing is a fountain of youth. Did you see that one chick, Donna something? Maybe she was on a housewife show or something. Jesus Christ, the whole face is distorted. She had so many plastic surgeries. She looks like a grotesque monster. I mean, what they're doing to themselves to try to look young when they don't have to do that. There's simple things you can do. Even just something as simple as buying some retinol lotion that I use. I have not been using it lately. Don cavities. I don't remember any cavities. I don't know. I just remember his teeth was yellow. I wish I could just superimpose. As I said, I'm very technically challenged. I can't do split screen on my cell phone. I'm just not creative in that way. And I admit it, I'm just not. Oh, no, I got a full picture of what he looks like. I got a full picture of what Popeye, several of them, what he looks like. It's not any better. Yeah, but Don looks pretty old for his age. That's an indication of your lifespan. Look, let me tell you something. I'm not saying I don't have any gray hairs. I do. But I've seen my hair when it's grown out. I do use Just for Men. Always do. Always will. I will tell you, I've seen the gray when it's not like a woman's stuff. It's not have any, what are you calling it, It helps you have to get your natural color. Like I said, it works better for people with light brown or blonde hair or something like that. It works for me real well, but it doesn't work well with people with black hair because if you're old, your face is going to show out. You can't have perfectly dark black hair without silver or gray in it. It becomes very obvious, like Ricky. Oh, God, what an example. Looks like he's got a fucking toupee on. He looks so fucking ridiculous. So ridiculous. But then again, how do we know that Ricky is not bald? Nobody's mentioned that before. I'm the only one, I think. Who says he's not wearing a toupee? I think Ricky is bald. I think he's bald, unless he could prove otherwise. I think Ricky is bald. Bald as a bowling ball, man. And he probably does wear a toupee or something. Why doesn't he just take it off and just, it's not like he's good looking anyway. What's the difference, really? Just take his fucking toupee off. I think he's bald. What do you think about that? Pig Nose Ricky, yes. Exactly. Laughing Larry. Well, that's a character. Boy, do we got characters on YouTube, or we have characters on YouTube. I'll tell you what, just like they gathered material for the Seinfeld show, they could make a similar show out of the characters that are right here on YouTube. It would be a winning hit show. But the question is, would anybody believe it? It's real. It's not fiction. It's real. These characters are real people. They're real characters. They're not made up. And I'm going to watch a movie called Brightburn. And I don't know what this is all about. It's called Brightburn, and it's on. All I know is they got this kid who's kind of strange. A little Barry, perhaps. He's a really strange kid. But he's got some kind of fucking powers. And he's some kind of an alien kid of some sort. It's called Brightburn. I think I'll probably watch that before my meal later tonight. I got it on right now. I might just want to watch that anyway. Spend some time with my lady and watch a movie and get off this fucking phone. Barry, I got a clear and concise message for you. Barry, I really don't care what names you call me because I recorded it anyway. You really are making things worse for yourself. And you only got yourself to blame about that. Not me, not anybody. And do you honestly really want to marry a girlfriend? And your reason really is that you think it's going to help you? I don't think it is. I hate to tell you that. Under the circumstances you have now, especially, I honestly, listen to my voice. Am I raising my voice? No. I'm telling you seriously. I don't think it's going to help your situation at all. Too much is going on now. And as with any Filipina, it doesn't have to be you and her. It doesn't have to be. I think the same way. You're not doing a justice to your girlfriend by marrying her, if you could marry her. I just don't think you're doing her any justice at all. And where's all this money coming from for this wedding ceremony in the jail cell? Don't you think that's kind of embarrassing? Can't you wait for better circumstances, like serving your time in prison, getting out, and then trying to figure out what you're going to do? But I understand you won't be able to make it back, because once you're convicted especially, you're already blacklisted, but once you're convicted of a crime, you know you're never, ever coming back into this country again. Ever. You do realize that, Barry, don't you? Be honest with yourself and be honest with your girlfriend. I know it's hard for you to be honest. Barry resembles Kramer or George. More like George now. No, he looks more like, what's that character on TV? Family Guy? No. Who's the... No. The guy with the big belly and bald head. Oh. You know who I'm talking about. Homer Simpson. Homer Simpson. He looks like Homer Simpson. He's so proudly walking around with his MAGA hat. Him and Brevis, his buddy, his lover boy buddy, with their MAGA hats on. Oh, they make me sick. Anyone who wears a MAGA hat, make America great again. Well, we're going to see how much Mr. Trump makes America great again. I think people are going to be, after a while, gritting their teeth after he's been in office for a while, because he's going to create the biggest inflation. You know what he said to that? It's going to hurt for a while. It's going to be painful, but we'll get through this. Well, it's easy for him to say. The guy's a fucking multi-billionaire. The average American is not a multi-billionaire. Anyone, not even close. People scrapping just to get by. Don't worry, the worst will be over. You just have to suffer for a few years, but we'll get this country together. America's going to be great again. Yeah, right. Politician talk, that's all it is to get himself elected. He's going to make more enemies of the United States now. He's putting these tariffs up. People are getting pissed off. The guy is going to get himself in trouble. There's a lot of immigrants that don't like him now. There's a lot of poor families that don't like him. Especially, look, when you got to feed your family, talking about your president, you may have honored him, but if he's making your life harder, you're not going to like him at all. And there's some people out there with some bad psychology. You know what I'm saying? Without me saying it. I would never want to be in his position. There's already several attempts on his life already. Money is not going to stop a bullet. He's got to be careful. He's got to be really careful. I'll read the last comments and I got to go. Brisket says, Barry looks like Casper the Ghost after a 20-year-old battle with meth. You know, if I didn't know any better, I didn't know him at all. It's just an opinion. I'm not calling him that. I should make a disclaimer on here. I'm not calling him a meth user at all. But if I didn't know him any better, you know, didn't know anything about him and see him on the street, I would probably say he was. And you know why I'd say it? Because I've met a lot of meth users, Seattle and Hawaii, and they all had rotten teeth. You know, they showed, before I go here, they were showing this comparison shit. It was on, you know, these feeds you get on Facebook and otherwise on the internet, you know. They were showing the face of a beautiful girl, and before she was a meth user, and then afterwards in progression. And it came from the police records because they were arrested so many times. They have to take pictures of you. Follow me? So from the police blotter, you know, they would show, I've seen this more than once, actually, with several people, but he had a good-looking chick, man. She had teeth in her mouth, everything, you know, it looked really nice, attractive. But she was a meth user. And every time she got arrested, they had to re-photograph her. And you should have seen the progression of what she looked like on the last photo of her. She was a meth user. You wouldn't even recognize the chick. Let me tell you, you wouldn't even recognize her. Meth users, they have rotted black teeth. They lose their teeth. The question is, how did Barry lose his teeth? Or his teeth, as he'd like to say, because he can't pronounce it. How did he lose his teeth? That's the only question I have. I'm not saying he's a meth user. Nope, I'm not saying that at all. I wouldn't do that for legal purposes. I would never do that. I just have a question, that's all. How did he lose all his teeth? And the second question is, the couple of teeth he has on the bottom that are black and rotted, why doesn't he just get them pulled out? Are you going to kiss a man that looks like that with black rotted 3 teeth on the bottom? Why doesn't he just fucking pull it out? Get it pulled out. Bama says teeth, as for, yeah, teeth. Teeth are for rich people. Teeth are for rich people. I got 2%. It's a good time to get off anyway. 2% battery. See what you guys do to me? Oh, what you do to me, what you do to me, what you do to me. Yeah, he's got no teeth. How could you walk around with black rotted teeth, Barry? That is nasty. A woman's going to kiss on that mouth? Hell no. Imagine he goes down on some woman's muffin, whoever she may be, you know. Would you want those infected, germicidal fucking teeth on your wussy if you were a woman? Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. And I gotta go. I'll leave off with that thought. Don't let it affect your dinner tonight, folks. I won't. Good night. Have a wonderful day.